demonstrate with the foreshortening of the camera angle, but we'll see if he's managed to pull back any of those 10 seconds that he had in the forest. Looks like he has a bit. He did attack a little bit. Well, it's only a second. It's only a second. 9 seconds difference between these two premier riders, as we see the clock now tick over for Kulhavi, 40 seconds down on the lead. So Kulhavi, the body language there, the head bobbing around a little bit. I think he's starting to feel it with 1 lap to go. He's got to look out for 4th place. This is now our world champion, Jose Hamida, for the Multivan Merida team, coming through with 1 lap to go. And we can see 5th place coming under the bridge. Still Marco Fontana. Great ride by him if he can hang on to this for a podium. But he does have to worry about the local boy, Barry Stander, as the next rider back. And he wasn't that far back last time we saw. And there he is now. We can see Barry Stander coming under the bridge. He can see a podium just in front. And it would mean a lot to the South African rider to stand on that podium in front of a very... And it looked like Barry Stander off the bike and telling. Here we see our world champion drop down through the rock section. I have to say, he does look calm. He's not overly exerted there. He does look calm. And yeah, he's looking good. Hasn't shaved for a few days. Maybe the moustache is on a comeback. It did bring him a lot of luck at the World Champs. And 16, Marco Fontana. I thought he was spent earlier, but he's done very well to hang on to this particular position of 5th and look for a podium. Who has only an 11-second gap over Lejarreta. So there's Fontana sitting in 5th in the podium position, but these guys in 6th and 7th are wanting to chase down. There are 3 of them. Lejarreta, 10 p.m. Nino Schurter now into the 2nd feed zone for the very last time, and there's Absalon. So it's almost half a length of a feed zone. Absalon's attacking though. He really wants to get back. This is his favorite section of the course. He led here every lap, so he feels very comfortable up through the rise in the amphitheater, and he'll try and get back on him through the hairpins. Schurter can feel it. He's out of the seat as well. There it is. There's our race lead to 2nd. That's the gap we're talking about after 1 hour and a half of racing, more or less. It's really coming down to a matter of meters and bike lengths. Lead moto going through in the lower shot in the foreground, and so tantalizingly close for the Frenchman. He can see his main rival just in front, and he just has to bridge that gap to have a chance of winning his 23rd World Cup. Or will it be a World Cup victory for Nino Schurter to put him on 3 victories in his career? And of course that all-important world title that he won in Canberra in 2009. In fact, one of the few riders to have been a junior, under 23 and elite world champion. Nino Schurter, 24 at the moment, turns 25 next month, and really a bright future for the sport. Well, he seems to have got a bit of a gap there on the descent because he is a little bit more technically proficient than Absalon. Out of the seat, running the tubular tyres on the hardtail Scott there. Well, it's not over yet, but it's a pretty good break. This now is the all-time winner of 22 World Cup wins. Only Brian Lopes has won more in 4-cross and dual. He's had 25, but 22 for men's cross-country to Julian Absalon. It's a bit of a jump back to Thomas Frischneck, the legend, who's won 17 World Cups, and his last one was 10 years ago. So he's been right at the top of that list for a long, long time. Christoph Sauser at 13. His last win was back in 2008. And then you have the pair of Philip Meyerhager and Miguel Martinez who've won 10 apiece. And then Cadel Evans has won 8 and Rune Hoyerdal 8. So the only big name of current times right out there now, really Julian Absalon and Christoph Sauser. The rest of the guys have only won a few World Cups. So I know that Nino Schurter will be very happy to build on his list. Jose Hamida's won 6. So wouldn't be too surprised if we see Hamida add to that list this year. But Julian Absalon, well, the body language there through that section looked pretty resigned to the fact that he may well have 2nd place sewn up and little chance of catching Nino Schurter. It's not far to go now. We see them come down through the quarry, and it won't be long after that before they head into the finish area at 1:32. So well and truly on target for a sub 1:35, which is what the UCI were predicting. So a great start to the season with the riders racing in this shorter race distance. It's been pretty exciting with not much happening in the front 2 or 3 for the last lap or so, but definitely a lot happening in the lower half of the top 10, and it was very exciting the first half, not knowing exactly how that top 3 was going to play out. There's Marco Fontana. See if we can see the chasing trio behind him, or has he managed to maintain that gap? Well, they're starting to now. No longer a trio. Looks like they're a little bit split up. Who's the lead protagonist in the group now? It looks like it's going to be Lejarreta, plate 22. So the Spaniard now wanting to take it up to the Italian, and the Frenchman Tempier, and not over by any means. Here's Fontana coming down through the rock garden. He did ride this beautifully a couple of laps ago. Again, well, he went close to being very forward on the handlebars on the run down, but he managed to hold it nicely. Lejarreta not as proficient last time I saw him through. Yes, he battles as Tempier takes him on the inside. So now it's Tempier's turn to try and bridge that 8-second gap. So Lejarreta really battling there. Fumic perfect through there. So you can tell a big difference between the technical proficient riders and the ones that are all about power and climbing. So we're back now with our leader through the quarry, which is a much more difficult section than it looks like on television, I can assure you. And he does it so smoothly, so well. We haven't seen any crashes from any of our top riders, both men or women in that section. So hats off to them. Really, really quite proficient. In fact, Cedric Garcia told me the other day that he was amazed at some of the technical skills of these cross-country riders, saying that there was no way that he could do that on a cross-country bike. They really are very, 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 very talented riders. So here we are on Bury Stander now. This is a slow-mo of him going through. Let's see if he had any particular problem going through this particular section. And so far, so good. Oh, and over the handlebars. A huge dive there for Bury Stander. Well, his front wheel just got caught up. Well, that's spectacular, and I don't know if we can see that again, but that was really, really spectacular for Bury Stander. He's lucky not to have done a collarbone or something worse there, because that was really full flight over the handlebars on a very difficult section. As we watch now for our winner, this is Nino Schurter. Very, very happy indeed to be coming across the line to take his third World Cup victory in his career. Nino Schurter for the Scott-Swiss Power Team, the Swiss national champion. Very, very happy indeed, and he did it decisively on the second last lap. 1 hour 34 minutes elapsed, and he's a very happy man indeed. He'll carry plate number 1 into World Cup round number 2. Nino Schurter from Spain. Well, fantastic ride by the former junior, under-23 and elite world champion. Julian Absalon acknowledging the crowd, coming in for a solid second place, grabbing a handful of points, a bag full of points, and they'll always come in handy when we get to round 7. So he'll be happy to pick up some points. There's some other races, some other battles left to fight, and they can see great sportsmanship between these two protagonists. They both respect each other very, very much indeed. And what a great race. Congratulations to both of them. Really fantastic tactics and great effort by both of those guys. Well, you can see Nino Schurter is really suffering. That was a big effort. Big effort indeed. Down, not even warming, now straight down to the ground to have a seat and gasp some air. And we can see now our third place rider, Jaroslav Kulhavi, and he has a quick look back to see where is the world champion, and he's not that far behind. So Hamida did make a bit of an attack there on the last lap, and but it's just not enough to bridge the gap. So third place, solid podium, good start for the season for the Czech rider, and also for our world champ. He'll be happy. He'll move up to plate number 4 for the next round, and a great start to the season for our Spanish world champion Jose Hamida for the Multivan Merida biking team. Let's see what the facial expressions are on El Pistolero. And well, now it's Marco Fontana. He saw the challenge coming from behind, and it was coming from Manuel Fumic, and he's had to sprint for the last bit. It really is coming down to a sprint finish for these 4 guys for 5th and 6th. And so these are teammates, so acknowledging each other. The 2 Cannondale Factory Racing riders in 5th and 6th, acknowledging each other. Podium and 6th place and 7th there. Great ride by Lejarreta, in it all day. And there we have Tempier, who lost out in that trio to finish in 8th place. 1 minute 54 down. Really is quite close racing when you think of the gaps. It's not that too far back for these guys. And we'll round out the top 15 or so for you in World Cup round number 1 here in Pietermaritzburg, brought to you by Shimano. Manuel Fumic. Now they're waiting on Bury Stander, who we saw fly over the handlebars in the rock garden. He managed to regroup. He's obviously not had, well, it does look like he suffered there. So we have 8th place coming out. This will be Coloma. Coloma coming in 9th. And the top 10 rounded out by Todd Wells, who's ridden in the top 10 for nearly all of the race, bar lap 1. And poor old Bury Stander losing out on that descent and finishing in 11th place. and he will be a little bit disappointed by that. He'll acknowledge the crowd, but he'll be very thankful that he's not not going to have a collarbone strapped up for next week. Very lucky indeed. We're going to show that crash again because it was spectacular. Here we go. This is Barry Stander. The setup was fine, but you'll see the front wheel just gets jammed about halfway down here. There it goes, slot straight in and over the bars. Those big 29er wheels catching there, and over he went. And oh, he was very lucky indeed. Trees on the side of the track. He would have just seen that on the big screen as well. And not what you need, especially in the last part of the race. Really does rattle you, and the face tells it all. Barry Stander, well, he was on the podium here 2 years ago. Unfortunately, the luck not with him today. He did put up a valiant effort throughout the race. He fought the whole way, but a tough ride indeed. Well, as we watch the rest of the riders come in now, after Barry Stander in 11th, we had Maxime Marotte coming in for 12th. Christophe Souza, a very strong fight back to 13th. Martin Gougen taking 14th, and Matthias Flukiger. Two different lines going down towards the rock garden. And we see Fontana rode this beautifully last time around. And, well, there's the problem. Came in with too much speed and couldn't do anything about it. And almost T-boned the fourth place rider, Hamida, and now loses a lot of time. That will unsettle him. He's had to run down there in his Mavic yellows and looked a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, he had such a fast line as well.
Hamida would have seen this just the last minute, and he couldn't have done anything about it. That was not a tactic, or he just had to commit to his line.
Yeah.
It's his lead as the all-time winner of cross-country World Cups. But once again, Schurter had the lead coming into this section. He's gone for the faster line, and he will make up even more time. This could be decisive. This could be decisive as we come around to the bell lap. Look at that, the distance, and it's rattled Absalon. It has absolutely rattled him because he knew that was happening. And you can see he lost focus. Just watch now to a slow-mo, and you'll see as Nino Schurter, watch that perfect line, perfect position off the back of the seat there. Switches around. Well, he runs a little bit wide there, and the other guys are switching across to come onto the inside, our left-hand side, which is what Absalon does here. And you watch him get caught up. Is it the rear wheel? It's the front wheel gets into a little V there, and it just rattles him. Foot comes out straight away, almost predicting that that was going to happen to himself. And he